Hello, this is Mercury's Cast. I'm your host, Travis Montgomery. This is a continuation from a discussion that we had previously, so sit back and enjoy. We are the people of Mercury. I am your interplanetary host, Travis Montgomery. These views reflect one planet and one planet alone.
Cause these types of problems. These are the cause of gang violence or drug epidemic. It's more or less a point of understanding. I don't think it's like a point of excusing, for me at least, but I think you're right to say that society does use these as excuses. Like, look at this MS-13 animal BS, they're talking.
Okay. Our friend of the show, Cara Phillips, has a point, and I'll lay it on you guys and see what you guys have to say about it. He says that our culture has fallen into a pattern. It is lack of integrity, in parentheses, meaning doing the right thing when no one is looking, and working hard. In many cases, the parents do influence these behaviors. It is there's a balance between genetics and environment, and some people not even necessarily hereditarily get some of these good genes, but sometimes people are just offshoots and they're genetically more driven than other people, and then other times it's the outside environment that creates the type of person that is going to succeed.
Can we get into are we breaching the race IQ conversation?
I'm open for anything, man, and I know,
because I think that there's a genetic factor that comes in. There's definitely a genetic factor, I think, that plays into people's mental health, and their mental health definitely plays into the decisions that they make throughout their life. I mean, I in many ways mirror the mentality of my parents, and so, and I imagine my kids would as well. So I can only imagine that the genetic imprint that parents growing up throughout the Jim Crow era, or growing up throughout just trying to make it into this country as an illegal, I can imagine that they would pass on some sort of genetic trait that would instill similar behaviors, man.
And here's another thing. Here's another theory about how some of the Mexican boxers and even Mexican MMA fighters have just this great amount of cardio when they're fighting, to be able to, and this great amount of heart, is that they come from the fields and the farm working and stuff like that, where they have to have that stamina in order to just do the work. Olivia, would you say that's a good thumbs up? Or, and these things can be passed on. And one thing me and Cara are talking about is, even she's listening right now, the people being passed on certain fears or certain genetic traits that aren't physical. They happen to do with your subconscious. Like when you wake up in a panic, maybe we were running from tigers 2,000 years ago or something like that, or fear of spiders, fear of heights. It's a lot of these things that are passed down, and I just crossed a whole bunch of different streams right now.
No, I think you made some really good points, man. There's a guy who's studying Neanderthals that says that the reason why people might be afraid of the dark is that it's very possible that the Neanderthals were nocturnal, and that when Neanderthal and modern human first came to contact, for 50,000 years around the area of the Canaan area, like the Middle East, where they first came into contact, that there could have been a period of 50,000 years of battle between these large, giant, huge creature Neanderthals that could rip us apart, and modern humans. And so that could contribute to why still today we're terrified of the dark and shit. Sorry. Just wanted to...
Even many of us that are of any Asian descent have at least a little bit of Neanderthal.
Everybody has a little bit of Neanderthal, I think, most humans, but I think
except
for Africans. Except for Africans, by the way.
No, they do.
No, they don't.
One small tribe of sub-Saharan Africans. One very small group of sub-Saharan Africans.
I've never done this before. The emoji? I've never done that before, but I'm going to do it now. I've never ever seen anyone do that.
I do that. I do that all the time.
I love that emoji. I use it a lot.
But I've never seen it in real life. Anyways.
Or I do this.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up, though, Travis. That thing about the genetic imprints of characteristics. It's interesting that you brought that up, because that's something that interests me quite a lot. And I actually, throughout the last year, especially with that Neanderthal topic, I've looked into it a great lot. I think when you're talking about the Hispanic boxers, maybe that has something to do with the culture of like the natives, because there was definitely a lot of cardio going on back in the day before horses came to this continent, and especially
Aztec wars and shit. I mean, come on.
Running through the jungles and shit from pumas and stuff. That I think that would definitely contribute to the cardiovascular conditioning of a race.
Their endurance.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything to add? I feel like we're just Mike hogging over you.
Sorry,
right
I steamrolled it.
No, we all are. Alex is usually the one, but we're all doing it right now.
Hello.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Miss?
I should probably start this with a question.
Well,
It's a far cry from the silliness that was going on before the show, huh, guys?
Oh yeah. all them delicious snacks.
while she percolates a stance on that, I do have an interesting addition. I don't think IQ necessarily is a gauge of overall intelligence or ability for problem solving or critical thinking. I don't think it's necessarily indicative, because I've met many high IQ people that make really poor decisions, and I've met some low IQ people that make excellent decisions.
Yeah.
That doesn't equate to discipline. And I was just thinking about this the other day. So there's a difference between being smart, being able to retain information, and intelligence. And intelligence is the ability to process information effectively. And being smart means that you can like figure shit out. And then remembering stuff, like Rain Man could remember your birthday if you told him 20 years ago. Does that make him somebody who you want to run your company? I mean, no.
IQ relates more to memorization, the ability to memorize information, whereas problem-solving skills, although somewhat related, there are low IQ people with decent problem-solving skills.
Yeah, I don't even know what the IQ stands for, and even the two words that
Intelligent quotient.
Sure, okay, sure. But how is that a measurement? How is that an accurate measurement of any fucking thing? It's not.
I think it has a reflection.
Not.
I think it reflects your cognitive ability to an extent. I mean, when I took an IQ test, it was a pretty in-depth. There was quite a large variety of different types of problems that were sort of like how they would spell out a word in toothpicks, and it was like how many toothpicks are in this word, and it's a timed test and stuff. So I think it has some reflection of cognitive ability, but I don't think that it's like a good indicator of overall intelligence.
A better indicator is actually the ASVAB I've seen.
Oh, that's an excellent test.
The ASVAB does a wonderful job gauging your strengths in a lot of areas, but I don't think my biggest issue with the IQ based on race or inherited IQ is that IQ is not the end-all be-all for intelligence.
Right. I think what they're saying by IQ, though, is that they're using IQ as a reflective, like, example of, like, cognitive ability or just overall. It's a measurement, right? So it's like not. I agree with you in saying that it's not that accurate, but I think the ASVAB, I took both of these tests within the last couple of years, and I think that the ASVAB is definitely measures your intelligence in a very different way than your an IQ test will.
You know what? Off air, I think we should all do these tests and then compare results. But
I can give you my previous scores.
I've never done any.
But okay, so in a doomsday scenario, when shit really matters, when you need somebody to figure out how to fix something or how to, like I said, in a doomsday scenario, do you want the guy with the highest IQ, or do you want the guy that knows how to fix shit and do shit?
You want both. You want both of them.
That's
but
the ideal.
If you could have one of the other.
So the high IQ person that also knows how is not only going to do it, but they're going to do it in the most efficient, effective, and in a way.
You can't have both. You only have one. Who do you want?
The high IQ can figure out how to do it.
Not really. Not if he's been in the lab his whole entire life.
Well, here's the thing. If shit hits the fan, you don't really need to repair. You're not going to need to do open heart surgery. If shit hits the fan, you're going to need to stick and move and keep on moving and find food.
But the idea, though, is that the high IQ person figure things out on the fly a lot better than the person who already has the stuff.
That's the
So if
measurement
new
of
problem-
IQ then.
If new
That's the
problems
measurement?
present themselves,
That's the
you need
measurement.
someone with good rationing, rationalization.
Rationality. Yeah. Sorry.
You need someone who can quickly adapt. Adaptive thinking is what's important. So someone that
What
may
I'm
be
saying is that not
skilled-
everyone that scores high on an IQ test just because they did this, and this does not mean that they're going to be able to do that.
So let's do a theoretical situation.
That's
You've got an
true.
electrician who knows every single thing about modern electronics or modern
Holla.
electricity, running
Holla.
modern electricity. Now, let's say something happens and there is a groundbreaking change in running electronics. Maybe everything is put on its head. Which person is going to have an easier time learning the new technology? Is it going to be the person with a higher ability to learn? Or is it going to be the person who knows everything about the current systems?
Well, I think that the person, and that's a bad example, I think, because I think if a master electrician were put into a situation like that, he's probably going to be able to figure it out with
Typically,
relative ease.
electricians are
I think
higher.
I agree with you to saying that adaptability in that type of situation is more valuable than knowledge.
Like, if the world ends, I want someone adaptable with me.
If the world ends, I want somebody who could ruck an 80-pound sack and and know how to dismantle a fucking firearm, and put it back together. Yeah, I don't give a shit if open heart surgery. My fucking wife's my aunt's wife is the guy who invented the fucking brakes for like jet planes and shit. I don't give a shit about him because when we send him to the store, he gets lost. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather put him down than fucking have him be a liability. You know what I mean? Like,
That's funny.
When you said that.
well, I mean, I'm saying in a fucking worst case scenario like zombie apocalypse, you can honestly think about it. If shit hit the fan right now, post apocalyptic situation, you got to think, man. There's a lot of people that you encounter in your daily life that are going to be a serious drain on your resources.
Me being a super nerd, I'm the kind of guy that sits down and watches fucking bushcraft videos, how to build, cabins
and you're
fly.
you're one of 100. Now think about all the thousands of people who are going to look to you as a messiah in that type of situation, and who are going to be a fucking constant drain while you're trying to outrun commies or zombies or whatever. Bro, shit hits the fan, you're going to have to go ghost on everybody you know and just survive.
Hey, I can.
You just basically pointed out that we would prefer the person who knows how to do those things instead of someone with high IQ. Basically,
But-
just what you said.
The
You
adaptability
watched
thing.
how to do these things.
Until last week or the week before, I didn't know how to do those things. But because I've got a high drive for learning new things and adapting quickly, my interests draw me to learn about these
Yeah,
things.
but
So,
what if you get someone with high IQ and all that stuff who's never even seen anything like that being done?
I
Just
didn't
as you saw it, they did it.
I had no idea how to build a possum enclosure until I went to Lowe's and on the fly designed one.
On the way there, fuck. I
No,
mean, I think you probably have
On
a.
the way.
Anna, you were on the phone with me when I said, "Give me a second. I got to draw something up really quick. I want to see if this is gonna work. I just got to do some
Yeah, I
measurements."
was paying attention. I saw something. You give me a doodle, but I was like, okay.
Guys, this is on topic
I'm
here
just
with
being
the.
honest.
This is kind of on
I'm
topic.
going to pause you, Darien, to tell
sorry.
Alex something.
Go ahead.
We're going to run a double here, and we're gonna post the first half tomorrow and the second half on Friday. Just because I feel like there's good energy going right now. But anyways, go ahead.
I got a question for you guys. This is something that I think about, especially with the way things are going. Everybody has that conversation when you're kids. What are you going to do when zombies pop out? Well, that's not really a concern for me at all. But there is a possibility of catastrophic events that happening, right? And I'm not in this like a total prepper mode, but I'm going to propose to you guys a serious question. Let's say I have somebody in my family who's severely obese, right? We'll use this as an example, but we're going to just say overlying disability. You're
Dude,
in a
don't talk
situation.
about your sister like that, bro.
Whoa.
No.
No.
I don't know your sister. I don't know your sister.
Okay. Well, let's say that somebody in your family is missing a leg, right? Or some other overlying, some other type of disability that is going to prevent them from A, carrying a shitload of equipment on their back for 12 to 14 hours a day or 24 hours a day, and B, being effective in combat situations or, oh, shit.
You're good. Just keep going. It'll come back.
My camera turned off. Hold on. No, it's because I went into low power mode. How do I turn that off?
Plug it in.
I got it. Hold on.
You're almost done there.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Anyway, no, I'm good. And so, what are you going to do? Or, I've heard people even use children as a in this example, but there we go. So you have somebody that's dependent on you, and they're going to be a severe liability in a situation where your survival is at stake. What do you do in that situation? Do you take on that liability, and do you hope for the best?
So who is this person to me? Is it my child or is it my
Could
sister?
be close family, somebody that would normally look to you as family and or
If it's my uncle, I'm saying, well, fuck you, I got to carry on.
But it's just more or less a frame of mind I'm trying to draw out right now. Like,
And we're getting stuck on this doomsday scenario, and
yeah,
that's
let's
great.
move off of that.
Let's move. No. I think it's great. We covered enough poverty. Unless anyone else has any kind of a different thing to say, I kind of feel like this conversation would morph into something else. Which
I think that the doomsday topic and the type of topics that we're breaching over right now actually kind of really closely tie into the mindset of somebody growing up in a very impoverished, area.
Fucking A, dude. I cannot disagree with you on that.
These are things I would think about constantly.
Some of the people like, yeah, dude, I made Kool-Aid out of purple food dye, sugar, and walnuts one time, or something like that.
Jolly Ranchers and
yeah, Jolly Ranchers and
I made Kool-Aid out of Jolly Ranchers and codeine. Wait,
oh god,
oh no, that's a
me
rich man's
too.
drug.
Yeah,
That's a rich man's drug.
it is.
That is.
Fucking A. But yeah, who do you? And I honestly would rather have the high IQ guy there because he's going to be able to figure shit out or come up with the new idea. What you really want is like a really impoverished, high IQ guy. You want low money, high IQ.
I thought of a good analogy. I thought of a really good analogy. Someone who knows how to build a home, who learned how to build a home out of proper building equipment, isn't necessarily going to know how to build a home out of stuff that you scavenge.
Unless he has a high IQ.
Unless he has a high IQ and go, okay, well, this will to bear the weight of this, and you know what, this will work, and you know what, maybe this will work.
I'd rather
Someone
have
with spatial intelligence. You want someone with spatial intelligence, basically.
I've seen some Mexicans.
Someone who will be naturally good at constructing or engineering or building anything in particular.
Correct.
Just saying.
Would you rather have a Green Beret or would you rather have a structural engineer?
Green Beret.
Yeah, Green Beret.
I'm going to take the Green Beret because a lot of Green Berets have a lot of engineering.
You have to have some sort of intelligence to become a Green Beret.
Some sort of intelligence? You have to be wicked smart.
I'm fairly certain on the engineering portion of the ASVAB, you have to score extraordinarily to even be a
No, well, yeah, I know that you have to get a decent score. You can't be a flunky and get it.
So I think the issue with what you're presenting is that you're giving an example where...
Okay, let's say 11 Bravo. Would you rather have the engineer or infantryman?
Engineer.
Yeah?
All right, would you rather have Pikachu or SpongeBob?
I'd rather take the mage. I'd take a mage over the warlock.
I'm going to take a night elf mohawk.
Between Pikachu and SpongeBob, I would take SpongeBob.
I would too. He's invulnerable. You can't kill him. You cannot kill him.
Well, you could dry him out, and I'm pretty sure if you put Pikachu underwater, he would drown.
Yeah, but they dried him out once already, and he just water again. I'm fairly certain. You want to get into anime shit? I'm fairly certain SpongeBob could beat One Punch Man.
I'm fairly certain that Hank Hill is the strongest anime character ever. Thank you. So let's not get into that.
Hank Hill.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. Let's not get into that one, okay?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Do it, Alex.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh,
Oh, that's good stuff.
Bobby, I do not condone that behavior.
Holy
That's pretty
shit.
good. That was good, man.
You were cutting out, unfortunately for our listeners, you were cutting out a little bit there.
Unfortunately.
I'll tell you what.
Listeners, what kind of is this that newfangled internet?
Oh, man, that's spot on, bro. Oh my goodness.
Music smell. What does the music sound like farting? What is this dubstep?
We could just do this for a fucking hour.
No, there's a transition here somewhere, and I'm usually good.
That'd be very
This
good.
is something we
Right
should
now.
do.
Good at all.
There's
That
It's
usually
not a shit posting channel. And that's, yeah.
Yes, it is. Every episode of Mercury.
Anyway. I don't know what it is.
Okay,
but-
let's circle back for a little bit. Now that we're all adults here, kind of. What has and I think that me growing up semi-middle class is fucked. I wish I had some kind of immigrant mentality. I wish I had some kind of growing up poor mentality. I always just think that I know that I don't, but somewhere in the back of my head, there's like, oh, unlimited resources everywhere, and just kind of float through life doing what the fuck. And that's my take on my experience from childhood to adult. You guys, nobody here is a CEO, and I don't have a lot of money right now.
I own my own company.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm the president of my own company.
Well, explain something to me then.
Okay. What do you mean explain something to you?
Explain it.
I'm still poor.
About what has your mentality that was growing up poor, and I hate to use that word, but
It's all right.
how does it affect your adult decisions?
I know what it's like to not eat for a few days. I know what it's like to have to sleep in a park. And I'm not going to fucking do that. So I definitely don't want to rob, kill, or steal, So I'm going to have to
steal a little bit. I mean,
No,
No.
you shouldn't.
No.
If you think about it, there's really only one sin, and it's theft. So when you lie to somebody, you steal the truth from them. When you kill somebody, you steal their life from them. There's really only one evil, and it's thievery.
I might be
So-
an evil son of a bitch.
Well, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. So
I'll tell you a little story of growing up poor, Mr. Travis. I once, I stole a piece of bazooka bubble gum. It was 5 cents. And I felt so bad about it that I went back with a dime and left it on the counter.
baller.
Fuck.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was a teenager, I wasn't the most honest kid, but I mean, I think that it's not good to rob people.
Yeah, I've done a lot of fucked up shit. I don't know how else to say it. Then
Theft makes
That's as deep as you need to go. Whoops, sorry.
not that I'm proud of it, but
I'll
shit
say this though. There are worst crimes. I think there are worse crimes for somebody to commit than like robbery. Unfortunately, to say that.
Oh, for instance, having a barbecue.
Yeah, like in a park and you're using fucking charcoal. Okay, the devil's
the grill. Barbecuing while brown.
Olivia, what would you say that what happened in your childhood has influenced your decision making skills? And what
That's kind of hard.
you can take a minute if you need to.
I'm the black sheep of my family, and I've taken very different approaches in life. Just about anything I do is frowned upon, whether it's generally a good thing or not. Always everything I do is probably bad. It's just my mom's a really judgmental and controlling person. So I understand she has good sentiments and wants me to succeed, but doesn't show it in a very good or effective way.
She Catholic?
So a lot of it, and a lot of it caused me to rebel once I actually was able to leave the house, and I just started doing a bunch of other things. Most of the things were like, oh, this is bad, this is all bad. And she had no good reason or rational or logical reasons bad. Like, of course, there's the obvious things, but not everything that she viewed as bad is actually bad. It's just her opinion, her viewpoint on things, and she just tried to mush that into me, and it didn't work.
Well, there's
which is
also a culture. There has to be a culture divide there too. So some of the expectations and things that are probably clear in her mind that should be existent in your world are different than what you've learned growing up in America, rather than growing up somewhere.
And the main one is religious. She doesn't like my atheism. So everything that I've done wrong in life has been blamed on my atheism.
Oh, you told her about that, huh?
That might be a lens.
4 years ago.
That might be a lens over how your parents view you then. Because I know, like, I come from, well, my parents aren't super religious, but I know, like, people religious, they look at atheism and it's like nothing you'll ever do will make sense to them because they're going to see you through this lens, and everything they're going to see is going to be a product of your atheism, good or bad.
Maybe for another episode, but I'm actually very curious how your family views your faith.
They don't really talk. I don't talk about it. They're not religious, so I have no reason to bring it up. And whenever I do reference religion, I always reference the Bible. I just don't talk about it.
It'd be like, hey guys, I'm Muslim. Yeah, okay. Well, you got a job now? You working or what?
Yeah, yeah. They don't give a shit.
Take the trash out. You don't do anything around here.
Yeah, so you're gonna be on my ass about something.
I like them.
Just completely change the subject. Like, hey guys, I want to have a meaningful talk with you. I've found this new faith and blah blah blah. Yeah. Are you gonna make the potatoes or what's going on here?
That's what that sounded like straight out of my childhood. Like you ripped an audio clip out of one of this childhood memories.
Sweet. Yeah, and I'll go back to it again. Sometimes I wish and then I'll see. I was talking with an Indian immigrant 2 days ago. Actually, he came over here, and we had a discussion. And it's like these people come here with just the biggest motivation, and they press their kids to just squeeze the last drop of success out of them. Same thing with a lot of the Asian people that come here, and a lot of Asian cultures, and to an extent. For Mexicans, at least the work ethic, and it's just like growing up middle class, white. It hasn't been a privilege for me. Maybe in a sense where I was comfortable living, but as an adult, I wish that I had these ingrained disciplines in me. And not to say that white privilege doesn't exist in certain forms. Okay, sure, it does, but. And even growing up, like Theo Vaughn has a good joke. He's like, I don't know what white privilege is. He's like, white privilege in my neighborhood growing up in Louisiana was somebody had a sweater. Because it was like just nobody. He didn't even have, like Alex said, shoes or anything like that. So I mean, that's not exactly privilege. I'm not saying it doesn't exist in certain forms in certain individuals. If anything, Jewish privilege is higher than that, but
yeah, let's get on that. I'd like to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew Darien was going to jump on that one.
I could talk for hours. We're not going to go there.
I got too many Yahoo friends to get into that topic.
I've actually, and to totally switch gears, I've actually kind of switched I've always been neutral on what's going on over there in Gaza, but when you're sending children and women to the front lines, like Hamas is doing, like that's no bueno, man.
So on the adverse though, when you're shooting white phosphorus at peaceful protesters, or you're shooting people who are throwing rocks from 100 meters or 100 yards away, when you're using white phosphorus on people, it'll really make me not happy with you.
Well, why would you send babies to the front line?
If your baby's going to die regardless.
Especially when Palestine has already officially admitted or has officially accepted Israel as a legitimate country and only expects to receive for their land to be a legitimate country as well. I think if we're going to get into the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, we need to approach it honestly, and it'll need to be a different.
Well, I think that I don't know if we're going to get. Well, briefly, I'd like to graze over just a few topics here.
I think we're already there. I think we can spend 20 minutes on it.
All right, let's do it, because I have some very interesting things I'd like to say on this. As you guys can tell, it's probably a very important topic to me religiously. So here's the thing.
And by the way, Darian's a Muslim.
Yeah.
He's one of them.
I'm one of them newfound
totally
white ones. I'm one of those rare white ones.
Okay.
Exclusive.
Wait, one. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't convert to Sharia law. Oh, go ahead.
No, we're good. We're good.
Should I be extra scared?
No, you're good. You're good. So here's the issue.
It's just like terrorist times 2 right now.
Olivia, that was a joke of the night. That was the joke of the night. You just nailed it. I'm sorry.
So here's the thing. When it comes to that conflict, why did Britain even occupy Palestine to begin with? Why was it their right to occupy that land? But let's skip ahead. That's like old news, right?
No, more importantly, when did that happen?
Like 1940 something.
And then Palestine was created.
No. Palestine, I think, was created under the rule of the Romans when they exiled the Jewish population, right?
And how long has the Israelis been there?
They've been there for thousands of years, but officially, the Zionists have been there since the 1940s, right? 1940s, I think, 1950s, something like that.
Palestine was created in the 40s, wasn't it?
No, Palestine was created like under the rule of the Philistine.
But they never called themselves that.
Palestine has occupied, or Palestinians have been in that area for over 1,000 years.
Right,
but they
long
didn't
time
call
since
themselves Palestinians until the 1940s.
Okay, but that's
after the World War II. After World War II, when everyone fled, when a lot of the Jews fled to Israel, that's when the shit started hitting the fan. That's when the official Palestine was created. I could be wrong. I was just reading about it earlier today.
Here's the issue. Here's the topic I wanted to bring up, though. When you talk about they're sending children to the front lines, well, if your kid was going to die regardless, I mean, this is one logic here. Now, I'm not justifying that. I think it's horrible, it's abhorrent, and it's disgusting, and it's hard to watch. And I've seen it, and I don't support Palestine's actions either. I don't think that they're making the right moves here either. But I just think that Israel is just a constant source of aggression and hegemony, and it's just they're not helping the situation over there. We've seen plenty of examples of them just shitting all over Palestinians, shooting at people who aren't armed. But then again, you see them Palestinians, like you said, pushing their children on that one video. You know,
no. So, that's what they were doing.
Okay.
One more thing I'd like to add to this before I conclude this thought here. I kind of went off on a tangent a little bit, but we were talking earlier about how ancestry and how genealogy can play an effect on a person's mentality, and their mentality obviously has a direct effect on their actions. Well, if you look at, there's some statistics that show that when you take Arab lands and stuff, you see a lot higher rates of incest. And over the course of generations, that can cause people to have erratic and violent behavior, a tendency towards erratic and violent behavior. And so,
it's genetic.
Yeah, it could be a genetic factor too as to why. I mean, if you read the Quran, it directly states that you're not supposed to like kill people with fire because it's a condemnable sin, right? But then how is a bomb vest like one of the most popular tactics for these people?
Yeah. So what's it called when you create a baby through incest? What?
A fucking mutant. That's what it's called. Sorry.
There's a word for what kind of person it makes. Inbred.
Inbred. Yeah, an inbred. They're inbred.
So a lot of what's going on, and I heard this stat before, and it's through big studies. I know Alex doesn't like to agree with big studies, but there's something along the lines of 70% of Muslims in I forget which area it is, but
Persians have a very high inbreeding rate.
Correct. And so inbreds themselves have a very high propensity for violence.
Exactly.
Crazy shit.
My issue is that a supposedly civilized country with U.S. backing is using white phosphorus and flechette rounds.
Exactly.
On people.
But here's the thing: is that where this is happening?
No, you're here's the thinging me. White phosphorus and flechette rounds are against the Geneva Convention. So a supposedly civilized country is breaking international laws that they're protected by from
on
other
our
countries.
dollar. On our dollar.
I'm unfamiliar with the white phosphorus stuff. You have to send me some links about that because
I'm going to send you. I'll send you videos and I'll show you what white phosphorus does to people. And you can tell me if it's okay that Israel's using it.
Okay, but here's another.
They're using it to illuminate the sky in broad daylight.
So that border that they're fighting on is really far away from any kind of territories. There's vast grass fields. So what they did was they brought these women and children there to the front line. It's not like they were just their houses are just right there. They brought them there in order as a humanitarian type of leverage that they're going to try and implement. It's not like this fight was happening in anybody's backyard. There's a bunch of grass fields that separate most of what's going on, and people.
Israel has been shaking.
Why would you bring a baby there? Why would you bring a baby there?
True. No, you're right to say that. You're right to say that. But why is there a conflict? Why is this conflict even an issue right now?
Why won't Israel accept Palestine's wishes just to be independent? Why can't they be?
I don't know if Palestine now. Maybe this is the
official. Since 1980, the Palestinian government has accepted, or the Palestinian leadership has accepted Israel as a legitimate country.
Well,
has only asked to return to receive the same legitimacy on their own, whereas Israel refuses to accept any Palestinian legitimacy.
But what about when Hamas? What about the power transfer? There's been power transfers in Palestine.
Most Palestinians are against Hamas.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They may be against them in spirit,
Palestinian leadership is against Hamas.
I thought Hamas was a Palestinian leadership now.
Nope, they are not.
Yes, they are.
They have control, from my understanding.
And most of the people that died, most of the people that died during that conflict were from Hamas. They were Hamas terrorists. And then there's some babies and some women and children.
That's U.S. media. Use global media instead.
I do. I go to Al Jazeera and shit like that.
Hamas is not leadership for Palestine.
No, but I think that they have a.
They are among the leadership. Yes, they are.
They have a seat at the table for sure. I think. Now, I think it goes a little deeper than this too. I mean, when you have it's not a Jewish thing, but there's definitely a sect of Judaism that believes in this book called the Talmud, which is a really just disgusting book. And excuse me, I'm sorry, but it is. And it tells the Jewish people that they are God's chosen people and they're above all others and that they are better than, and they call us non-Jewish people goyim. I'm just going to spill the beans now that we're on the topic. This is how I feel. Yep. And they call us goyim, which is a beast. It means golem. It means somebody to be used as a vessel to accomplish one's goals, a golem. And that's what they call that. And this is not believed and held by all Jewish people. This is the Orthodox Jewish people.
There are American Jews that believe it.
No, this is the Orthodox. Yeah, I've been called goyim before too. This is the Orthodox Jews that mostly believe this, and it's a big problem because those are the people who are mostly supporting this Israel, the nation of Israel. It's these Orthodox Jewish people. They're absolutely fucking madmen. Excuse me, but it's just as bad as ISIS or the Taliban. It's just as bad. And you know what? And we can say, oh, they wear brimmed hats, so they're a little bit more civilized, and they came out of Europe. Well, you know what? You know what the word Holocaust means? It means burnt offering. It appears in the Bible. Abraham made a Holocaust to God. He burnt things. So I really don't think that the answer to this nation, why Israel is such an issue today, is really all that easy of an answer because we can't even talk about certain contributing factors to it.
It's not.
The people that support this ideology. I mean, I'm sorry to go off the hinge a little bit, but the people who support this ideology have not been working on this plan since 1940 or 1880. They've been working on this plan since before Jesus popped out, since the days of Babylon. I mean, they believe that. No, I'm serious. They believe that Israel was supposed to be the nation of all nations to lead all other nations. So they're doing what they.
Are you going to jump in? Because I got a lot to say about this.
I'm going to say I agree a lot from my personal experience, very personal, but also there are a large number of Jews here in America, Israel, and I don't think you would say that if it weren't for a very volatile sect controlling Israel, and if not for the humanitarian atrocities being committed by Israel, there are a large number of Jews that are against Israel. Very large number. I think they've even got.
Israel is the only one committing humanitarian atrocities in this equation. They're the only ones.
No, they're not the only ones, but they shake the stick a lot, like sabotaging Palestinian water supplies, since they've been granted complete control.
No, you know who's the biggest supplier of food and resource and supplies to Palestine is? Do you know who the biggest supplier is? It's Israel.
You know who has complete control over all of the water in that region? Israel. The Palestinians can't grow their own. That's part of why
I don't disagree with that. They also have control over the world banking system. They also have control over the U.S. media. They also have control over...
I'm not talking about the economic... I'm talking about... Yes, of course they provide the food because they want Palestinians to feed from their hand. They want control.
Yeah, the Democrats also house black people and give them... the Democrats also, house black people
because they want them to be their sheep. Because they want them to vote. Because they want...
It doesn't... Exactly. It's a control method. And now here's the thing.
If the Palestinians had their own water so that they could irrigate crops, they wouldn't be relying on food.
Back in the day, Muslims and Jews coexisted in Muslim lands quite peacefully. Like they say, the Muslims say in the book Quran, it says, behead the Christians and Jews. No. That's not what that means. When it says behead the non-believers, it's talking about the people who say that they're Muslims and go in to commit atrocities like ISIS. So the Jews were allowed for a very long time to live peacefully in Muslim lands. You just had to pay a tax. Okay, well, I don't necessarily agree with taxes, as you guys know, but here's the thing. You have a group of people who are conspiring over thousands of years, or let's say hundreds of years even, whatever, it's thousands of years, to establish a nation that is meant to be put in front of all other nations, and when it comes to prioritizing themselves and resources and all other things and security. So they're really the aggressors there, I think. If you're gonna do whatever is possible, if you believe that it's your sole purpose to lead humanity, regardless of your actions and regardless of the means in which it takes you to get there, that's an act of aggression.
Okay, answer me this question: does Israel have the power to just completely wipe out all of that territory, carpet bomb it? Do they have the technology and the capability of just in one single? Just to wipe out all that area.
Not without drawing too much.
Yep. You got to be too much.
Do they have that capability?
They have the capability.
Yes or no?
They have the capability.
And who would hold them responsible to that?
And that's
the UN?
The United... the UN.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
If they Clark Gale, they couldn't write it off like the white phosphorus saying.
Who the hell has Palestine's back except for...
No, I think... Okay, here's the thing. If it came down to an all-out warfare and we started slugging it out, it's going to be an all-out war, and they would take so much damage. And that might cause...
Israel could flatline Palestine tomorrow.
Right. Understandably.
But it's not without Iran retaliating.
Exactly what I was going to say.
If Iran had a nuke, they would have launched it at Israel.
No, it's not about nukes. It's not about nukes. It's just about the fact that if you go for the kill, okay, I've seen a squirrel kill a rattlesnake, right? The squirrel obviously died, but he still fucked that rattlesnake up, and the rattlesnake died too.
You guys are defending Iran right now. You know how insane.
No, I'm not defending Iran. What I'm saying is that Israel has the strength to do it, but that's going to mean total just annihilation.
Exactly.
Destabilization.
No.
And you know what?
They could do it if they wanted to. If they really wanted to, they could do it.
No, they could.
Stop sending food and aid. If Palestine would stop sending women and children to the front line, they wouldn't die. And if Hamas wasn't backing them, then they wouldn't be such demonized.
That's not at all.
That's not true.
If they stopped sending women and children to the front line, they'd still be killed.
Yeah, it would just happen slower, and it wouldn't make the news. But, I think if Israel went for the win, if they went for the gold overnight, you know what would happen? Not only would it cause a lot of damage upon the Israeli people, because everybody would go at them. The leaders of a lot of these leaders of these crazy groups can trace their lineage back to Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's that serious to them. And so they're not going to go out without a fight. If they're going to die,
they're already going after Israel. I mean,
to an extent, not to this extent. I'm talking about if Israel just for some reason decided that it was going to go down overnight and take all this shit down and can establish Greater Israel. There's no way that they're going to do it without taking some sort of serious damage. Okay, and not only in their localized damage, what might completely destabilize their communities.
Do it,
but people in the Western world. No, well, they could, but you could also shoot yourself in the head. It's not going to help you. You know what I'm saying? The people in the Western world would also go fucking crazy. You think the problems are bad now? Israel starts carpet bombing people, watch how bad it gets. I'm just saying, it's not.
Would Palestine, if they had the same technology as Israel,
the U.S. would withdraw in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we would have to.
Right. They control our money. There's no way that would happen.
So print new fucking money.
They would no longer control our money if they didn't exist anymore. We would pull out in a heartbeat and let them fight their own fight.
Because if we didn't pull out, normal, rational people, normal, constitutional caring people who love this country, if we started supporting that type of atrocity, might get a little pissed off.
Well,
might get a little pissed off.
Well, on the other hand, what happens if Iran gets a nuke and hits Israel with it? There's World War III.
You can't hit Israel. You can't hit Israel with a nuke. You can shoot a nuke at Israel.
There's so many we've placed so many anti-missile arrays in Israel on our dime that they could never get hit by it.
Yeah, you could technology though.
You could shoot Israel, but you can't.
The only way they could nuke Israel would be by sneaking in a ground nuke or a dirty bomb. That's
Good luck. You can't even sneak in a child.
Nope. They got them walled.
Hey, it can happen.
Could. Nothing's impossible. But you know what? False flags are a great way to amp escalate the violence. So maybe
we never mentioned what would happen if they were to carpet bomb Palestine. What would happen when it comes to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They would get hit by every angle.
Them too. How about that?
They would get hit by every angle. They would. Okay,
and I'm not anti-Palestine. I'm just seeing what they've been up to lately, and it's been not cool at best.
I agree. But you have to think though, man.
I've always been on the fence on this issue, but once I've seen what they happened after they moved the embassy to Jerusalem, which is, I mean, kind of a nothing burger for me, but it's something for somebody else. The stuff that went on after that, it seems like the Palestinians way more at fault for the violence and not as much as the Israelis.
Well, no, I think that they're both. I think that the Palestinians what they're doing is abhorrent. It's disgusting by putting their children on the front lines. But if my child was gonna get fucking bombed or missiled or something, I'd rather at least him get to see the person shooting.
That's not they just moved the embassy. That's not like they're creating missile attacks they're
going to continue.
That's bullshit right there, because the embassy moved at the same time as the founding of Palestine after the Israeli
existence
occupation.
of Israel is an act of aggression, is what I'm saying. Them existing there is an act of aggression.
The moving of the embassy, they timed it at the exact same anniversary of the founding of Palestine after the Israeli occupation.
God.
You're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
The same day, right?
So what I'm saying is that,
and then everyone turns it into it's Trump's fault.
They've done those protests. They've done those protests every year on that day. You can't say that it was moving the embassy that did it. They've done those protests every single year since the 80s.
If you had somebody move in next door to you who all of your neighbors kept telling you, hey, not only is this guy fucking a total weirdo, but he's a thief and a murderer. Okay? He's never been caught though. We never pinned anything on him, but he'll steal your shit and he'll kill you and your children in your sleep. Okay? What would you? How would you feel? Would you move? Would you want to move, or would you want to maybe would you go knock on the guy's door with a shotgun and be like, "Hey, get the fuck out of my neighborhood"?
So just because the embassy moved means that all
it's not. It's not. It doesn't start like 2018, man. I'm telling you, this is an age old. This has been going on for thousands of years, and it's because
I'm telling you, the embassy move meant nothing because they've done this exact protest every year on the same day.
So what's the difference then?
There's no difference. You're bringing up the embassy move, which makes no sense.
The embassy means nothing.
That's where the violence comes from.
Okay, so
there's a difference between protest and violence. And
they're throwing rocks at people with fucking assault rifle. Assault rifle. They're throwing rocks at fully automatic weapons. Yeah, those rocks are totally totally warranted to take pot shots from far away. Yeah. They're throwing rocks. Oh no.
Where are you getting your information from?
No, I've seen the videos. I've seen videos of these people throwing rocks at a fence.
How
and
long
the
were
Israeli
these
soldiers?
videos? How long were these videos?
Several minutes long. Like maybe under 5 minutes.
The soldiers laughing about how they're going to shoot the person. Rocks pelting a fence, and then them going, "Oh, do you want to hit them there or there?"
Well, send me some links because
Yeah, we'll definitely spam the shit out of your inbox after this talk.
cool. I want to know more. But
Hey,
for me, from what I see is that
Olivia, I sent you some of those photos, right? Would you say that those photos are humane?
No, they're not. They're pretty.
Would you say that's something disturbing?
I would say so, yeah. Because there's half a baby's body.
You're being a
Half
little
is
naive
burnt
to what's going on in the 360 view of you're only seeing one side of it.
No, I think
No,
I don't think you're seeing the full.
side.
No, I don't think that
side
we're seeing
here.
the full picture here.
I was pro-Israel. I was pro-Israel until I fucking grew up and actually looked into it with an open and honest heart. And I'm like,
Same.
wow, holy shit, they're shaking sticks at people.
Yeah, but you're only 20 something. So you haven't
They're
even
the little kid. They're the little kid that will run up and kick you in the leg, and then when you smack them up across the head, they cry to their mom saying, "They bullied me." It's like you just fucking.
Israel actually stands up for himself, and they're not a little kid. They're
No,
more
they
like
don't stand up
bullies.
for themselves. No, they don't stand up for themselves. They spoil themselves on other people's dollar. That's why they're kicked out of every country in the world. They're kicked out of what, like 140 countries or something like that to date?
Who are Jewish people?
Yes. They were kicked out of like over 100 countries throughout modern history, like up until like what the year
This just took
800.
a weird turn.
They were kicked out of all these countries. And, you know, and another thing, too, this has very little to do with what's happening. All this aggression and animosity has less to do with what's happening in Israel and in Palestine right now and more to do with what happened in Babylon, a.k.a. Iraq, thousands of years ago. There was this ideology because you can kill a human being. Look at how many people have died in this war that's been going on. It's not about the people. It's not about one man or one child. It's about ideologies. And there's an ideology that was created that tells people that they're superior and that they can use any means that they want to achieve this success.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree that they have a certain amount of arrogance.
Oh, a certain amount. They have
of
the arrogance. They have
entitlement, and
sorry.
this maybe should be continued at some point with the at the expense of sounding uninformed, and maybe we need to cross our T's a little bit better.
Oh, I don't know. But, my T's are crossed.
Just to say, and we're going to wrap this up here. I've been neutral. Like I said, I've been totally neutral on the issue. I saw both sides, but once I see you bringing babies to the front lines, that's kind of where I draw the line.
I'll say this: fuck Israel and Palestine. How about that? Excuse my language.
Cool. Yeah.
Fuck them both. Yeah, equally.
Yeah. What's that? You guys seen that one T-shirt? We're all scum, and they have everyone's hand like right there.
Yeah, I love that.
We're all scum.
I love it.
All right, guys. Well, it's been real. It's been a real one.
It's been a real one.
Yeah, we need to have a fun episode with us three or us four, because without such the seriousness, we can just get really silly. I feel.
Oh yeah. Hey guys, I'm actually gonna. Well, never mind. This isn't a proper topic. Never mind. Go ahead.
No, what are you gonna say? No, I'm curious.
I don't want to drop the bomb on a podcast live. I'll message you guys. It's a move I'm gonna make, but I think you guys will like it.
Suicide bomber?
No, come on. It's not funny, man. I don't want the fucking.
I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding, bro. I won't say that again.
I love America. U.S. Constitution. I love America.
I had to throw that. That's the only time I'm ever going to use that.
All right, I'm wearing my MAGA hat all day now.
Okay. So at the closing, we just need to tell people to do what, Alex?
Not
going to do it.
Step day game up.
Step the game up. Darian, can I get you to tell people to step the game up?
Okay. So closing advice. I'm going to say everything that happens in your life is your fucking fault, and if you're not where you want to be in life, it's your own damn fault. Start working harder. Start working smarter.
I don't know if I agree with that. Olivia, can you tell people to step their game up?
Don't do it.
Come on,
Oh,
Olivia.
wait, that's the thing. That's what we got to say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You have to say it.
Yep.
Don't
Come on.
Or you get the gas.
Whoa.
box art.
I don't know. Just become well informed and stop following
gonna do
stupid
it.
trends.
No, you got to step up your game. What are you doing?
Step
I
your
don't
game
know.
up.
Step up your game.
Step your game up.
Step your game
Step
up.
your game up.
Step it up.
Stop
Oh,
putting me on the spot.
Your game is down here.
you did great, Olivia, and you're beautiful. All is well. Step your game up.
Oh, cool.
How do you like? 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 How do you like?